What's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Director's Den. I'm your host, Don. And with me, as usual, is my co host, Jason. And I'm going to let these fine folks introduce themselves. I have three guest directors, four if you include my co host, but I'm going to let these fine people introduce themselves. Guys, take it away. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first since I'm next to you. My
right.
name's Mark Byrne. I'm on my wife's computer. That's why it says Donna. I'm the founder of Absurd Productions Pictures, a writer-director for them. And we're working on a current film called One of One.
Tom, I'll let you go next.
My wife is very supportive of me. She backs everything I do. I am not being held hostage.
All right.
Tom Touhey, and I've worked with all two of the lovely people in front of us. And I guess I'm the newest director among the bunch. I am running Heavy Duty Man, up and coming.
And I'm Moni Parra. I'm the second. I'm in the middle. Moni in the middle. Whoop, whoop. In that I got my start actually with Mark. Mark was working on the end of Bigfoot when I first met him. And then I did some acting for him in Remnants. And I did some camera work for Mark on Brazen Impact. And being on set with Mark and stuff, I got an inspiration and I wrote a movie called Killed on Arrival, KOA, that is in the editing phase now. We're done with all of the scenes and we're in the editing phase at this point. So I've had, a couple of different in the background a little bit.
Hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. That's the thing. You wrote a movie, directed a movie, bam. That's more than 95% of the people out there can say that they've done. Yep. So, again, thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, I mean, the fact that I have, three of you guys here, it's kind of intimidating on me because I'm just a podcast. You guys make movies. So, it's awesome that you could take your time out to join me. But, I just want to kind of get into it. I guess we'll start with Mark. What got you into this? What triggered this early on? Is this something you always wanted to do? Kind of picked it up and started running with it. When did you figure it out?
It is something I always wanted to do. But when I was younger, I had so many interests and gradually I realized, okay, I can't play guitar. I can't race cars. I can't be an illustrator. And kind of this was the one that was kind of on the back burner. And then some friends of mine from high school started a public access show and we were writing, directing skits. And so they asked me to join them. And that's really, and I was the last one to join and I was the one that had the biggest bug about it. So when that ended, I'd already gotten Absurd Productions kind of mentally set up. It wasn't official yet. And then when I moved up to the DC area, I was trying to sell a screenplay called Small Fish, Small Pond, and was going on movie sets as an extra trying to sell my screenplay and realized everybody there had a screenplay. No one there was trying to be an actor. Everybody wanted to be a writer, director, or whatever. So after being on set several times and sitting in a room for hours and getting on camera for 5 seconds, I was like, all right, I'm done with being an extra. I'm just going to start the company and finish my film that I couldn't sell. So that was kind of the impetus for it. And that was this is our 21st year, actually. So that was in 2001. I put out our first film, The Worker Bees. Was a short film. And then followed that with Taste of Desperation. That one took 6 years to do. So don't feel bad, Tom and Moni. If your first one takes a long time, I've got the record and you don't want to beat it.
I mean, between COVID, I wrote the first screenplay, if you remember, Mark, that was The Cult of the Raven's Eye. And then for the location, I had to turn around and take my script and basically tear it down and redo it for another whole location. And then COVID hit. And then just as I was at the home stretch, we had a bunch of problems with actors dropping out day of. And I mean, it seems like it has taken forever to even get to the editing phase. And everyone says, that's the longest part. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to finish this movie. So I appreciate the encouragement.
I have a
You'll get
question.
it done in less than 6 years, that's for sure.
I have a question for you, Mark. Man, that kind of dedication is inspiring. That's did you in that process, that 6-year process of trying to get that second film done, did you ever feel like giving up? And if you did, how did you work your way through that?
Well, the reason it took so long was I had to learn all the equipment. I had to learn Final Cut because I cut the other one on a, believe it or not, on a flying erase head video where I could I didn't need to use software. So I actually cut the first one on that, and I had been using that up to that point. So I had to learn the software. I had to learn how to the DVD Studio and Final Cut, and then I had to go through. Of course, there was a problem with one of the computers, and I had to get another computer and went through all that. And then the sound, I had the whole thing finished, and then the sync and the audio went off. It was off track by like 6 seconds. So you'd have to go like every 15 minutes and resync it. And through the entire movie, an hour and 43-minute movie. Oh, and then I had to cut the movie down because it was actually closer to 2 hours and it just was running a little slow. So I had to then go through and cut. So there were all these phases of things that I was doing. So I never really considered quitting because it was just kind of like, okay, if I get over this hurdle, I'm there. And then there was always one hurdle. If it had been 3 or 4, maybe I wouldn't have gotten there, but there was always one hurdle, and I'd get over that hurdle and then I'd see, oh wait, there's another hurdle. So then there's one more hurdle and I get over that. So it was always one more hurdle for like, well, we took a year or so to get the cast and the locations together, and then, a year and a half, 2 years to shoot. So really that last 3 years was the grind, was trying to get it all done. And so I guess if it had been the same problem over and over again, that might have made me want to leave or stop doing it. But it was just a series of different problems. And I kind of look at this like there's just always going to be hurdles like that are put up ahead of you. And in most cases, you can get over it. It just, you have to just keep plugging away. If you don't know how to do it, go on these chat groups. These Mac forums have people, every problem you've had, somebody else has had it.
Yeah.
And you might read 20 of them and one person tells you to do this one thing and you do it and suddenly it all works. It's crazy.
That's awesome, man. Very, very commendable to be that dedicated. And that's a trait that I've noticed a lot of directors like us and filmmakers have, is just, we are so passionate and so focused and determined that if it takes 6 years, we're going to get there. So,
yeah.
Hats off to you, man. That's awesome.
Thanks.
No, definitely. All right, Tom, what you got, man? What directing bug bit you?
So I owe it all to Regina DePaulis, kindergarten teacher. She was a thespian and had her for kindergarten. The next thing you know, I don't even know what technology we were using. It's probably predated Super 8 because this is 1974. And myself and my best friends in kindergarten are sitting there shooting a cops and robbers movie. And no kidding, 6 years later, I'm in community theater, and Regina DePaulis is in community theater. We're in The King and I. And we've remained in touch to this day. Actually, I'll probably hear from her tonight. So I always throw the props out to her. And what that ended up, I guess, creating was an interest in film. And my parents were both 40-ish when I was born. So I was raised watching black and white movies. I always tell people Lon Chaney Sr. is my favorite actor. Lon Chaney Jr., that way I don't offend anybody. All right. And so I decided that I was actually going to try my hand at this for a living. So I enrolled in Temple University in Philadelphia, and I have a degree in radio, television, and film. And I worked for, give or take, about 6 months in the Philadelphia radio market, not knowing at the time as a 21-year-old college kid that here I am in one of the top 4 markets in the United States. And basically it was the transient nature of the business. One day, you're on doing a radio show and the next day you're fired, or the entire station changes over format and you've got to go find a new job. So I watched that happen. I was like, man, this is not my thing. I need the security of a full-time job, a paycheck. And so I completely dropped out more or less of the industry with a degree in it. And I went and joined the military. And I always had my hand in it somehow. Like when I was in the military, they needed a video done. And so I did an industrial for the unit that I was in. And I've done industrials since then for various different things. And then 2007, I went to, I want to say it was Horrorfind, when Horrorfind actually existed. And I went with a friend of mine. He and I had both gone to college together and high school together with the same radio, television, film degree. And he was like, I was like, man, I really don't want to go to this convention because everybody's going to be wearing black and have facial tattoos, and I just don't like fit in. And so I ended up going to the convention, and well, I was right. Everybody has these weird tattoos and they're all dressed in black, but they turned out to be some of the most awesome people I've ever met. And as we were walking around, there was a couple of tables of people and they were selling videos that they had made. And I was like, man, we could do a really good movie for about 30 grand. And he was like, no, you'd need $300,000. I was like, there's no way. So it became a dare at that point. So I went on the internet and I found a guy named Gary Ugaric who was shooting a movie called Deadlands 2, and it was being shot 15 minutes away from me. So I contacted him and I said to Gary, it's like, hey, I'd like to come on board. And he's like, well, I've cast everybody. And I said, I understand, but I'd like to invest in your movie and see what we can do. And he said, I need an evil government agent. And I said, what a coincidence. I am an evil government agent. I don't even need to act for you. So that's how I got into it. And my attitude was show up as an extra. I got a speaking role in that movie, but show up as an extra, prove that I could be competent at it, and let's see where it would go. And then I met this strange guy with horn-rimmed glasses named Matt Burns, and Matt Burns connected me to Mark Byrne and Moni Parra. And so I had opportunities with both of them, and I'd like to think that attitude carried me because Mark hit me up for Bigfoot. I showed up on Bigfoot and I didn't care what I was doing. I just wanted to be there, show that I had the interest, show that I had the dependability most of all, and do a good job. And then Monty hit me up and same thing. I showed up on set, and the attitude's always been, for me at least, no small role. There's only small actors. And so that's how the three of us have been connected.
That's awesome. That's kind of why, I was like, I like to get all three of you guys on here because I know it's like the, eight degrees of Mark Byrne or Matt Burns. So, I figure, what, we'll go at it and we'll try our hand at it. But yeah, it's even better knowing that, you guys are connected some way. So, yeah. And Matt, he's something else, man. I've had the honor of meeting him at a con. We actually helped him out at Carolina Fear Fest a little bit, and it was an experience for sure. So he's definitely a good dude, without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, the fact that you guys got to work with him is cool. Jason, you got any questions for Tom? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, Tom. Are you more wanting to be on the actor side of things, or are you wanting to be more behind the scenes as a director?
Okay, so good question. I think that my enjoyment is definitely with acting. I really enjoy the art of acting. I've done a lot of study, and again, it's really what drives me, because if you pay attention to any movie, when you watch the background actors, that's where you see a lot of genuine talent. They have to really add like the spice to the movie. The leads really don't have as much pressure sometimes as the background extras, because if a lead messes up, he's going to be covered for. But if you see a background extra or a background actor do something and the director never caught it and it ends up in the final cut, like Copland is my favorite example, you're going to notice that, and it's really going to take away from the movie. So yeah, if I had my way, that's where I would be, is definitely throwing in front of the camera, doing my job, making sure the director's happy. If the director's happy, I'm happy. And yeah, leave the director's directing chair to gifted people like the two that we have here.
That's a great perspective. I never thought of it that way. Like you're right. If a lead messes up, they'll just redo it, do another take until they get it right. But yeah, background actors typically just have one or two takes to get it right.
Well, it
If
feels
you
like
ever,
they start off in the negatives too. Like they don't have a big dog in the fight, so they gotta outperform somebody. So they're already starting off at the bottom, so they just gotta hit it 150%.
and it's not their job. Their job is again to add to that role and to support the director, support the project. And in Copland, the example I use is at the end of the movie, if you ever watch it, Stallone is walking to the police station, and there is countless background actors, and there's one that stands out because he literally bumps into Stallone and goes, "What the F, man?" And Stallone even points that out in the director's commentary when he's being interviewed. He points that guy out not in a good way and said that he got in my face every single time he was on camera. I don't think that guy's pulling any lead roles anytime soon.
Nah, no, he's definitely falling off the earth for sure. You don't have Stallone call you out and then you get another role. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I don't want to see that in my obituary.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I bumped into Sylvester Stallone and said, "What the fuck, man?" Yeah, that's no, you're done. So no, that's definitely good perspective, like Jason said. It's a good analogy, good perspective. So um Miss Monty, when
President.
did when did you get this whole director's fever?
You know, probably about 2012, about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I was living in Colorado at the time, and I had a friend. Her dad had written, he was a huge Batman fan, and he had written a fan fiction. Um, it was going to be released in webisodes, and they asked me to come out and act in it. And I had a lot of fun doing that, but I had so much more fun watching him just set the shots up and do all that stuff. And, I thought, man, that would be really cool to do. And then life happens. I was a tour manager for many years, so I'd go back out on the road and stuff like that. And finally, when I settled here on the East Coast, Matt Byrne, we all talk about Matt and I, had known each other through the music industry, and we just were at a haunt one day, and I came out with this idea, and I said to him, "Hey, wouldn't this make a cool horror movie?" And he lit up like a Christmas tree and was like, "Tell me more about your idea." And again, from there, it just sparked the desire to write a screenplay. And then when I did that and finished it, I was shocked that I had even done that. And then through Matt and all of his contacts and the people that he knew, he was like, "I can get this thing casted. I mean, we can make a no budget movie." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And so we did. I mean, and like Mark said, there's always one thing in the way. Um, Again, through Matt, I met Mark, and Mark was kind enough to kind of give me a little bit of a lead and say, "Hey, come on to my set, and you can PA for me, you can do whatever, just hang out if you want, whatever." And then I met Tom, and Tom is a very modest guy. He was also our forensics consultant for KOA. He just gets out there and helps. He does a lot of what he can. He filled in extra roles where we needed it. I mean, to me, this is all just, I'm still like a kid. I'm still that kindergarten kid that Tom was, making a cops and robbers movie. I can't believe that I've even gotten this far. So that's kind of where I got the bite. And I got to say, it's kind of like a tattoo. They say once you get one, you get a shit ton more.
Yep.
Now I see things from, I think, a different light, and look at things differently and say, "Hey, what about this?" "Oh, I like this idea. I could make," of course, you got to go through a million ideas to find the one that really suits, but it's a lot of fun to look at the world a little differently.
No, definitely. That's yeah, and the fact that, bringing back what Mark said, he wanted to be a race car driver or illustrator or anything like that. And like, there's people that, again, they get over those hurdles and they go and do that. So it's, compared to what the other things were, directing just seems like that's like the higher echelon. Like, wow, you could have been an illustrator easily, but you're a director. Like that's insanity to me, because again, I'm just behind the mic. So, when hearing you guys say that, it's like, it's ridiculous, because you guys are so talented with what you do, and you guys could have done anything regardless of whether you were directing, acting, writing. So that's what's really cool about talking to directors, is that, a lot of people don't understand, what hurdles you guys go through. I mean, like you said, COVID, recast, money, like Tom said, somebody said you got to have $300,000 to make a movie. People would kill to have that budget.
Right. We
So-
we started up a GoFundMe, a crowdfunder, with I won't say who, but we started a crowdfunding when KOA, when we first started shooting before COVID, and we were doing very well. We had put up a 60-day campaign, and we wanted $5,000 for the 60-day campaign. And halfway through, we had just hit the halfway point, and we were like, literally, I'm not kidding you, $5 away from the $5,000. And they pulled our crowdfunding because they said that KOA had sent them a cease and desist letter. Which, of course, they never sent me anything. They never contacted me. I sent several emails with a great, letter talking about my rights as the right of parody, and how our, nothing looked like their KOA signs and everything. But by the time we were able to get the crowdfunder back up, they had already refunded everybody's money. So we tried to do it again. By the time 60 days was up, I think we got maybe $1,400. So, I mean, we have literally had to do this on our own. And like Mark said, it's always one thing after another. Once you clear one hurdle and you start to see the rainbow, here comes another one. And you just have to be persistent. You just have to say, you know what? I'm not going down like that.
Yeah, that's a shame, especially with the fact that it was an abbreviation. It's was it killed on action, isn't it?
Killed on arrival.
Arrival. So it's like, well, what? Come on, guys. What the hell's KOA even mean anyway? What's the real KOA
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Campgrounds of America with a
Okay.
Oh, with a K. So who screwed that up first? You all use the K, use the C, use the real thing.
Well, and, again, like I said, we again, Matt has a lot of friends and people that he knows, and a huge network. A lot of people that are in the movie industry don't know that Matt started when he was like 17 years old in the music industry, booking shows for his punk band, and became a big promoter on the East Coast. And that's how we met. I ran a nationwide touring company for independent artists and met Matt, and Matt helped me book a lot of cross-country tours that I did with the company I worked for. So he has a vast network of more than just actors or directors. I mean, he knows a lot of people. And he did conventions. That's how some, other people have met Matt, is through his convention days. And we got a team of people, actors and artists and people that have been, big name companies that looked over the letter and were like, yeah, this is it. Send the letter to them. And, again, we got nothing in return, crickets, which, again, that's their right as a company, unfortunately. And it was a learning lesson for us, but it is what it is. We haven't stopped using it. We haven't stopped calling it KOA. The actual film was filmed at a KOA campsite in Antietam, or Williamsport, Maryland. So, I mean, we're going to keep moving forward. And if they want to go, if KOA really wants to go for it, we can.
It
I
just
got a-
occurred to me, it sounds like you almost have a crush on Matt Burns, just hearing some of the things you say about him. I'm just putting that out there.
I have a crush on Matt Burns.
Wait, Wait a minute,
Oh.
Matt and I are engaged. You better back off, boy.
To know Matt is to love Matt.
Yeah, Matt is
True.
my fiance. We're getting married next year on Halloween.
Ooh, that's an exclusive, isn't it? I don't think
Yeah.
you've told anybody.
I think I have. Yeah, that is an exclusive.
Bam.
Oh,
Hamityville's got to get
Congratulations.
one exclusive out of anything. Just
right.
one. I don't need anything else.
Your
We're
life
off the hook, Tom.
Oh boy. Jason, you got anything for Moni? I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
Yeah. First, congratulations. You're very welcome. And I have a question about your history of being a tour manager. Have you transitioning into film? Have you used that experience and that knowledge producing film? Have you found that was a easy transition? Because
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because the company I worked for was called Project Independent, and we went across the country during the fall and would showcase independent metal, punk, and hardcore artists. And we did live video casts. So I literally did live production and tour managing, and had a whole crew with a whole camera crew going out. We had, we took a jib out, we took 3 cameras, camera guys, the whole shebang went out. And I found that, first of all, it was a great time in life, but it was a very, very great learning experience for me. I learned how to think on my feet, how to handle situations, because if anybody's done live television or live events, that, you don't have any time. When shit goes wrong, you've got to fix it now. And it gave me a lot of that ability. And so I think when it came to dealing with a lot of the hurdles, it helped. I can't tell you the last couple of days of shooting how many times I was sitting at a picnic table at the KOA camp rewriting a scene because people were not showing up, or we had somebody that had a death, and obviously when people are working for you for free, you can't be a hard ass. You have to say, go take care of your business and we'll make it work. And so I was able to put a lot of what I learned in the music industry into the hurdles that the film gave me. And I think that made it an easy transition. If not, I probably would have been a basket case.
Yeah, it seems like both roles would have very similar skill sets as far as like organization, management, and being able to recognize possible problems before they happen. So
Absolutely.
And I think like everybody has had that, I guess that ordeal or that situation that's kind of made things like this easier. I mean, I used to hate hearing myself talk, hate hearing myself, seeing myself anything, but I worked in customer service for 15 years and, in retail, and you can't hide behind a counter. You can't just, go in the back room and, sit down and go, man, I really wish these people would leave. I got to get through my shift, but you don't have that choice. You got to just, grin and bear it. And I think that's what, a lot, what you guys deal with, especially with, like you said, if nobody has a budget and these guys are working for free, what are you supposed to do? You can't just, no, you can't live your life. You can't go do this. If there was $10,000 on the line, it'd be one thing, be like, that's a good chunk of budget. And that's a good, good paycheck, got to figure something out. But yeah, I guess that's it's a hurdle in itself is, when somebody's got to take off, or, like say COVID, somebody gets COVID. I mean, what did you guys have to do with that? If you dealt with that, if somebody was COVID positive, did the whole thing shut down, or did you even let it get that far?
We never let it get that far. We agreed early on, because I worked in the medical field. Everybody's got a 9-to-5 job, and I work in the medical field. And I said to Matt, I am not going to put people's lives in danger. We're going to shut down. And we did. We shut down for about 18 months, where it was just, no, we're not going to do this. We originally had talked to Kevin Van Hentenwyck from Basket Case about being our lead character. And then and he was very receptive, very interested in it, read the script, really liked it. And then COVID hit. And because of his, he's over 60, he was like, I'm not flying anywhere. He actually lives, in seclusion. And I mean, so to speak, he lives away from a lot of population and stuff. And he was like, and I said to Matt, I agree with him. I don't blame him. I don't, no hard feelings. If I were him, I would probably say the same thing.
Mhm.
So, we thought about, again, because it was a no budget movie, because people were donating their time out of the kindness, out of their love and passion for the theater, the theatrics and the film industry, and out of their love for Matt. A lot of these people I got to know on the film set. I had, some of them only met at conventions like you and I briefly.
Mhm.
So we shut down. And then when we felt that things were starting to get safer, we said, okay, guys, this is to give us all your available dates and let's get started. And luckily we were able to finish.
Mark, anything like that with you?
Yeah, we had to shut down Brazen Impact for about 6 months it was over that winter where it was really bad. And luckily we had shot most of the film. We had maybe between a quarter and a third to go. And so we just picked that up in the spring when COVID died down. And then on this last one, the first two screen shootings we had scheduled, we had to cancel because one of the actors had COVID. And so we just canceled the shoot and rescheduled it for like a month and a half later. And I was like, I thought we were through COVID,
Yeah.
I didn't expect this to happen again. Fortunately, it happened twice and it hasn't happened since. But, for folks that are getting into the winter, that's always the worry because it tends to spike in the cold weather. So I'm hoping right now we're scheduled to be done mid-October, and I want to be done because
Yeah.
I do not want this to linger and affect another movie like it did, our movie and Moni's movie, and not just our movies, but the reason there's so many movies being made right now is everybody had to wait. And now that's why there's such a problem with resources and scheduling, because everybody's committed to multiple projects because everybody wants to shoot right now. They all want to shoot this summer.
Mhm.
They've all had these things on hold for a long time and they don't want to deal with the winter. And if we're going to have another spike, and so it's just, I just hope we're going to get through it this winter and we don't have another spike, and we can, next year, we can just be free and clear. Anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely understand where you're coming from. I mean, just want to get it out of the way. You don't want to take any chances. Don't want to repeat. So I don't blame you there. Tom, I don't know how much you can go into about Heavy Duty Man, but I know you've had some pitfalls and perils with that movie. So
Yeah, the biggest issue is it was casting and dependability. I'm going to put it out there. We all we're all pretty interconnected. Most of us have done several movies together. I've literally lost count on how many that Mark and Moni and I have been on set together or done movies. And so Heavy Duty Man came about as an idea when I was doing sorry, brain dump. Give me a second. I always get these titles confused here. Serious Profession. When I was on Serious Profession, we took a couple of minutes to shoot the trailer for Heavy Duty Man. And if you watch the trailer, which I encourage everybody to do, coming back onto the actual production, I think there's only 3 members of the cast that were actually in that production that are actually left. We had somewhere around 10 or 11 people for various different reasons drop out, and many of them very good reasons. And people have left with our blessings and full support. The doors open, but unfortunately, there was a couple people that that just ghosted on us, to be honest with you. And so these are individuals that I wish them the best. I'm sure that there's a reason for it, but you can't expect to consider somebody when that's been your experience with them. So around May, after we had a pretty serious Me Too thing that happened. It was not associated with our production, but individual that was within the production. We were like, that's it. We can't do this because we're too close to shooting. And I'm not going to go ahead and recast the roles that close and have somebody learn the role. So at that point, we made a decision that we were going to shut down production. We're going to shelve it indefinitely. And I turned around, this was about 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. But I said, we had a great group of people that came in. Every person that dropped out, the person that was recast stepped right up to it, and those people stuck around. And I said, I really owe it to the friends that committed to this to bring this project home. And so I turned around and I contacted everybody privately first. And I said, hey, if we start this up again, are you going to be down with it? And everybody was more than receptive. It turns out that this is the little movie that could, I guess. I'm not going to promise you that it's going to be the best production you'll ever see because, don't want to curse it anymore than it already has been. But I owe it to those guys and girls that stuck by the production to bring it home. And so that's the commitment that I've made. And so when I said that we're starting it up, then the next hurdle came up, which was, well, hey, I'm shooting with Moni on those dates, and I'm shooting with Mark on those dates. And so I was like, oh boy, guess I'm going to have to kill those guys and get my cast together. So anyway, no, I would never do that. But so we just, again, to the people that committed, I said, all right, we're going to work around everything because I want you to get out there. I want you to pursue your passion. I want to support these other productions. So let's make it work. And so I just tonight sat down with the friend of mine who's coming on as the director of photography, the cinematographer. And we just sat there, we hammered it out. And it's not going to be the tight production we hoped it was going to be, as far as 8 solid days where everybody's committed to the movie like they do in Hollywood. So we're going to have to go and shoot around some things. We're going to have to take some, B-roll when no one else is looking. But it's going to come through. It's going to get done. And I can't tell you how much I genuinely appreciate everybody who's going to come up on the cast of credits. I owe a debt of gratitude to.
That's awesome, dude. Because I know when I originally heard about it, I was pretty stoked about it because we usually do our lists of like our top 15, which I get crucified every fucking time because I leave somebody's movie off of there, and I'm like, guys, you have it'd be top 100. Like I can't think of all of them on the fly, but Heavy Duty Man was up there for a while just because it was wild, man. I was like, this is cool as shit.
I appreciate that, but also I really wish you had left it off that list because now there's more pressure on me to deliver this. So
you got this, man. Again, hey, if you can get through that, you can get through anything at this point. I mean, that's how you gotta look at it. Recasting, shut down production. I mean, if you can get through all that, you have no problem at all. So I wouldn't even worry about that.
Well, thank you, sir.
Well, sure.
Anything that you see, I'm telling you right now, anything that you see on that movie that you like, it's going to be to the total credit of the cast and crew. I'm not taking a bit of credit for it. It's going to be all them.
Well, Monty was right. You're not going to take credit for anything, are you?
No, man, I'm innocent.
That's what he tells me. This is what he tells me.
I didn't say all that. Okay.
You gotta watch out for the innocent, quiet ones. So, I guess one thing, because obviously you guys are directors, who or what, I guess I should say, was your biggest influence, that you take from, watching a movie, finding out who the director is, who would you say is your biggest inspiration that really keeps you driving? And, when their movies come out, you stop, watch them, and you're like, going to keep on with that inspiration. Mark?
Well, it's interesting. I would always say Orson Welles because he's my favorite director, and I think he's one of my favorite humans, and just the amount of creativity that he had. But in all honesty, I don't direct films like Orson Welles. I direct them more like Roger Corman, because it's all about, what Corman did was he got everything done in budget and schedule. Orson, half the time, halfway through an idea, decided to do something else. He almost had too much creativity, really, and couldn't be harnessed. So I operate more like Corman, in just, no budget. This is what we have to do. Okay, we lost that location. You're going to have to cut a scene, add a scene. We lost that actor. We're going to have to do this, do that. And Orson had to go through that too, because he got ostracized by Hollywood, and he would actually go out and be in people's movies to make money to make his own movies. But he just had multiple ideas going at once, and I'm more of the Corman, but get your idea, get it done, then move on to the next one, and accomplish your stuff and move on. Don't have 15 projects going at once, because then you're probably not going to get anything done. And kind of what Tom was saying, really one of the director's roles is to deflect the award, the glory, and accept the criticism. Because if there's a problem, that's on me. But if it's a success, that's on all of us. And I think if you do it that way, then your group of people is going to be supportive of you. If every time something goes wrong, you run around and point, and we've all been around people that do that. You run around and point, and it's not me. It's never me. It's always somebody else. Well, it's your project. So it's ultimately, it is you, whether you started it or caused it. It's up to you to fix it, and you to resolve it, and to keep your group together. And you don't do that by pointing fingers. And we've all been on sets, and not just on sets, but in situations with work outside of films. So it's the same thing. It's if your person that's above you has your back, then you have their back. If they don't, then you don't. So I think you learn that doing this, that you can't just sit there and say, oh, it's all me, it's all me, it's all me. People don't want to hear that, and they're not going to want to work with you if that's the way you feel.
No, well said, man.
I just gotta say, man, I love that philosophy, and I love that mindset. That's the way I try to operate as well. Don, you found my people, man.
Hey, I had a feeling.
Mark, do you think that is that type of strategy or filmmaking is a byproduct of just the independent, limited resources type of atmosphere that we all create in?
I do. The other thing about it is, I mentioned the first movie taking so long. You don't, and I don't want to curse you two guys on your first movie, because I think you certainly get leeway, and I got leeway on Taste of Desperation for taking so long. But having done all this now, people's attention spans are so short that your movie, and it's funny too, I found that people are more interested in the process than they are in the end product. I mean, every time I post pictures behind the set things, everybody's all excited about that. And then the movie comes out, and it's almost anticlimactic to people. It's kind of the opposite of the way it used to be, before everybody promoted every aspect of everything they do. I would wait and wouldn't even announce a movie. This was pre-Facebook. I wouldn't even announce a movie till it was finished completely, because up until that point in my mind, it was just conjecture. It was just me talking. I'd heard so many people talk about what they were going to do and never deliver, that I just got so sick of that. I was like, I don't want to be that person. I may not be the best person in the world, but I do not want to be the person that sits there and talks about what I'm going to do and then never does it. So I would wait until literally the movie was done. They go, why didn't I hear about it? It was like, well, because I didn't, until it was done, it was all just a figment of my own imagination. Now you can't do that nowadays with the social media, where everybody wants to be involved in the process. And so that I've noticed that's changed, but yeah, I think the budget really, it drives a lot of what you do, but you don't have to be hampered by your budget. I mean, we're talking about somebody talking about a $300,000 budget. I mean, I can make 30 movies for $300,000. I mean, you don't need, why do you need all that money? My opinion is a lot of people some of that money's going in their bank account,
Better believe it.
And we all have it, like Moni said, we all have another job to do that. So we don't need to do that on this one. If we make money, that's great. But if we don't make money, what are we going to do? Quit and do so? I'm not. I had to come to that decision several years ago. It's like, all right, what is the future of the company? Is it money? If I don't make money, is that the end of it? And I decided, no, we're going to continue on whether we make money or not. If we do, that's great. If we don't, then we're going to continue on and we'll work to whatever budget we have. If it's zero, then that's our budget. If it's $500, $5,000, whatever it is, that's our budget. And that's what we work to.
They're passion projects. I mean, that's what KOA has been for me. It's a passion project. And Mark, Tom, I know you guys personally, not just in the film industry. And I know that for both of you, it's the same thing. This is a passion project. And the people that we are, the actors and the behind the scenes people that we're all privy to work with and have been lucky enough to know, it's a passion project for them as well. And that I think is such a great thing to see so many people that everybody has 9-to-5 jobs that does this, that we know, and they still take their days off to come and act for us and run camera for us and do lighting for us and help our vision come. And I've said from the beginning with KOA, this is our movie, everybody involved. It's not my movie. It was my idea, but it's our movie. Because without any of these people, it wouldn't happen at all. So,
Man, it's good. It's a breath of fresh air to hear that, especially, with how the industry can turn. You see how some of these people react to certain things and they can't take criticism well, and they can't accept the fact that, like Mark said, that you may have failed, that you may not have made any money. That's not the end of the line. That's just the beginning, because eventually you're going to make money. I mean, it's going to happen. It's just, it may take longer than, everybody anticipated, but you can't point fingers at people and you can't say, well, we failed. The first thing you say is we failed. We make sure that that's in there, but at the same time, as a director, you can't say that because, like you said, you got to put it all on your shoulders. So, I did that, I failed you guys.
Right.
But again, everything that you guys do is bar none. It's better than, half the things that I've seen. And that's a testament to, your cast. I mean, some of the casts that you have in your movies are, it's insane. And Jason, that goes for you too, because I know a lot of Jason's cast very, very well. And it's, I kind of, take him as an example, but it's a tight knit group and that's something that a lot of people try to do is, and like you guys said, when you get people it's such a tight knit group, but it's so small. When you try to do these projects, two of those people you're not going to even get because they're doing so many damn things. And, Jason's is the same way. He's got a crew that, he trusts with everything that he does. And I'm pretty sure that that's how you guys are too. And then once you see that, once you've worked with them, you kind of just say, hey, I kind of want to work with that person again, because I can trust them. They're dedicated. I know what makes them tick, and I know they're going to be here for me, so, and that's, again, that's that you got to have a keen eye for that, because you just never know what you're going to get, and then when you're on set, and then that's when you kind of start piecing it together. Like, I think I can depend on that person, but I know I can depend on that person. And I think that's the strategy behind it, is that once you get a cast built, man, you just want those people back.
for sure.
It's very family oriented, and we, like I said, we all know each other. And that's why when the issues took place with Heavy Duty Man with a couple of people, it hurt personally, because these are people that I've known for a long time. We've been on a lot of movies together, and it was, again, it's a very personal thing. But to comment on what you were saying, behind every person that ever failed, there's 1,000 people who never tried.
Yep.
And you have
And
to
you're-
define failure too. You know,
Yeah.
what is failure? If you're not happy with the product, the end product, then that's failure.
That's failure.
That's
100%.
my definition. If I'm happy with it and I didn't sell one copy, if I'm happy with it, then it was a success. And hopefully the cast feels that way. Now, if the whole cast hated it, then that's debatable. Then it may be a failure there too. But if I'm happy and the cast is happy, then all that other stuff is just gravy. I mean, we're
Yeah.
all working another job anyway. So
Exactly.
no. I'd rather everybody be happy. Honestly, if I could have one or the other, a movie everybody hated that made a bunch of money, or a movie everybody loved that didn't make much money, I'd take the love.
Man, you guys are making me want to move to the East Coast.
Wish the hell you would.
Come on up. We got cookies.
There
Hey,
you
man.
go.
Yeah, we got Hawaiian punch and cookies. What more do you want? No, I mean that's a great. I mean it's ridiculous. Like the mindset that you guys have. It's like I said, it's just a breath of fresh air. Just because and the fact that we're kind of a catalyst to how these people get their movies out. Because our group gets annihilated with posts about stuff coming out and this, that, and the other, and just when anytime I see somebody that is working with Mark post something or working with Tom post something, it's like I just want to see it more. But then there's always a post there that I'm like, why the fuck did you post that? Why are you doing that? I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about why this is bad or well, this happened to me today. It's like, look, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that everybody is out to make a movie. And I love the fact how you brought it up, Tom, that, the people that never even tried, I mean, sorry to say, those are the failures. The people that never even gave it a shot, because you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's the same thing. Again, I don't like to put myself out there, but, same thing doing a podcast. Me and Clint had no idea what we were going to turn into. And we just said, we went to a bar one day and said, let's just do it. Let's just, what have we got to lose?
Yep.
Other than the money I spent on equipment? But what do we got to lose? Nothing. And now I would like to think that we're somewhat successful somewhere. So, and again, if we're not, like, if we don't have a lot of views, a lot of listens, that doesn't matter to me. The fact is that when we roll up on Saturday night on the hangout and we get 10 people, it's the same 10 people. So I know those people are happy, which makes me happy. So again, if I'm doing that, you know what? That's a success to me. That's how I look at it.
I agree.
So
I've got a kid that's 29, and when he left home, one of the first things I said to him is, don't let other people's versions of success ruin you.
Mhm.
And that's really something that I take to heart, is the truth. Everybody has their own version of success, but to one person, getting up and making their bed is success. And
that's success to me.
yeah, you just have to define what success is for you. And it really doesn't matter what the guy next door or, your people on Facebook feel. It's really what you feel. And that's something that I stick to. And I think Mark is right when he says, it's not about making the money. Anybody working at a craft will eventually hone their craft and get better and learn to earn. But if you're having fun while you're doing it, if you feel the product that you have given out is what you wanted to convey in the story, that's all that really matters. And the fact that you hung out with some really good people and had some really good laughs and learned about other people, that's just, like he said, gravy. It's all the gravy that comes with it. So, that if you take away nothing else, take away that. Don't let other people's versions of success dictate who you are and what you think success is.
That is sound advice, especially because you never know what the other person's situation is. They could have came into money or, something like that, and they got a jump start. But the one thing that I've noticed out of all this is one word always pops up: networking. Even though you may not be as successful as that person, the people that have worked with you will always back you up and say that, hey, I worked with that person, give them a chance. And then the next person, same thing. And that avalanches, that snowballs. So, and that's kind of where, I've seen a lot of these people go. That's actually where I'm at myself. I started as a Geek Squad agent at Best Buy, and now I'm a senior IT technician for the government. And, because everybody's like, this dude knows how to do this. He knows what he's doing. Just let him do it. And, that's how it is. And, word of mouth, as much as social media has taken over the world, word of mouth still means something. And, these groups that we're in, it only takes one person to ruin it. And that's why I take very, very good care of my group, because I don't want anybody seeing that. I don't want anybody to have to, put up with that. I'm like, keep your negativity out. We're all about just staying positive and, just having fun. That's the big thing. Is if you're not, again, fun. If you're not having fun, what the fuck is the point of doing anything? Especially making a movie, doing a podcast. If we're not having fun, what's the point? I don't care about money. I'm not mad. I've spent more money on this podcast and I've made it. I don't give a shit. I'm having fun. I love having you guys on here. I love talking to the people that I talk to, and that's all that matters to me. So, I'm in the same boat as you guys. Success, that's the eye of the beholder, man. That's, one person's success does not define what everyone's success is. And that's, God, that's sound advice.
Life is too short to be miserable, man.
No shit. No kidding. But yeah, I don't want to keep you guys on here too much. But we can keep talking. Yo, time out.
Hey, you forgot to ask Moni who her favorite director is, man.
I was actually getting to that. So I'm glad you time out. Yeah, who is your influence?
I guess I would have to say probably John Waters. A lot of, because again, he started with just a handheld camera and a group of friends, and he didn't give a shit. He wasn't making movies for the masses. He was taking his ideas and making them, like Mark said, he was happy at the end of the day with what he was shooting. And that to me is a big kudos. Again, I'm not doing this to impress anybody. I just have an idea and I happen to express my idea. And so, yeah, I'd have to say he is probably one of the biggest influences when it comes to how I wanted to be and what I wanted to create in this first movie.
I did not expect that, but I can see why. That's awesome. That's a good one. I love it. He still doesn't give a shit. Give a shit.
He doesn't. And I love that about him. Again, his movies, he doesn't make his movies for anybody but himself. And that's what makes him so great.
Absolutely.
He takes good care of his cast because they are people, like you said, word of mouth, people that he knows he's worked with before. He knows he can trust. He knows he can count on. And he just, create some of the craziest things that when you watch it, you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Even now, even now you're like, what? And I like avant-garde. I like things that don't make a lot of sense. I'm one of the people that, some of the movies that I really enjoy, people have no clue. The Naked Lunch. It was a great book. But I thought the movie, Peter Weller was just excellent in that movie. And a lot of people don't know that movie. And I'm like, it's one you should watch. So I like Strange and Unusual.
It's all right. I think we all do. Oh, come on, Tom. Who?
I was literally just telling somebody not 2.5 hours ago how I hate the book Naked Lunch.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you? Well, when you understand how he wrote it and how he was on drugs and in and out. Now, Tom knows this, and I think Mark knows this. I grew up in East Los Angeles. I come from the barrio, and unfortunately, I am one of those kids who comes from a lot of drug addicts and a lot of hard backstory. So I saw a lot of heroin and a lot of junkies in my family and understood that wave. So I understand that Burroughs is hard for a lot of people that don't understand that he was a drug addict and that he was writing these things. You know,
I understand. I'm just confident enough to look at the masses and say, you guys think Burroughs is a genius? I thoroughly disagree. And you know what, Moni? I'm still your friend. Okay.
Hi, baby, you got
Hey.
that. And again, like I said, everybody looks at things differently, and I'm all about let's talk. I'm not a hater. I'm a
Right.
statement.
So there's no way I'm gonna be the reason why you two don't talk anymore because of this fucking interview.
No. We're all good. We're all good. I may never talk to Mark again, but that's from
Damn. Good Lord. Tom, did you tell us who your favorite was? Who your influence was? I don't think
I
you did.
didn't, but if you feel it's necessary, I'll be happy to tell you.
Well, yeah, it would only be fair.
All right. So I always hate when that question, who's your favorite, comes up, and there's always that guy that throws out 5 instead of 1.
Right.
I'm not going to be that guy, but I have to throw out Billy Wilder and Walter Hill.
Damn. Those are two
Those
damn
two-
good choices.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I've deployed 6 times with the Army, and there was one movie I took with me every single time in one form or another, and that was Stalag 17, my absolute favorite movie. And then if I can take a couple of seconds here. So I had never actually seen The Warriors. And I was in Baghdad in 2008, and my man, Sean Upton, was sharing my, called a chew, but it's basically a trailer. And he said, "Hey man, got a movie for you if you want to watch it." I was like, "What do you got?" "The Warriors." And I was like, "Man, I've never seen The Warriors." And for the listening audience, if you don't know, it starts off with the comic book version of the movie, where it starts off where it talks about the Battle of Canoxa and the 10,000 Greek mercenaries and what happens to them. I don't want to ruin the movie, but that's what Walter Hill based the movie on. And so I watched the movie, and it has become my second favorite movie right after Stalag 17. And I went into where I was working the next morning, and I quick Googled Battle of Canoxa, and it turns out that that happened in what is now Baghdad. So I was sitting on top of the battlefield when I watched the movie that I guess was the impetus for The Warriors. And so it's got kind of a special thing for me.
That's pretty badass. Now that's a story. That's cool, man. Yeah, Warriors is that's a damn good movie, man. It's damn good. It's damn good all the way around. All the subject matter and do with that is awesome. Yeah, that's pretty badass. That's a story to tell for sure. Jason, I don't know if I've ever asked you.
I'm pretty sure you have. It's Wes Craven.
That's right.
Yeah. Just love everything that he's done. So creative, and revolutionized the horror genre like 3 times. So yeah, he's my favorite.
Hey, right on that one. Brought Scream and brought the slasher genre back from the dead. That's for sure. Not to mention Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah,
Hills Have
definitely.
Eyes,
Yep, definitely, man.
Last House on the Left. I mean, he was badass.
He was badass. He was badass. Damn guys, having 3 of you all on here is rough because we can keep going, but I don't want to keep you guys on here too long. We'll be on here again. There'll be a part 2. But yeah, I just wanted everybody to kind of get an idea of what you guys do and who you guys are, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna see big things from each and every one of you. So I mean, again, it's I try to give everybody attention, and I try to give everybody a chance, and I want things to be said and be pushed out there, so don't be afraid to put stuff on the group. And I know Mark, you're behind the scenes thing, I know you try to stay away from it, but man, if you got anything for your movies, man, put it on the group. We want people to see these movies. I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't really give a shit if it's horror anymore. You know, the people that I know, the people that I care about are the people that I want on the group. So, you know, if it's not a horror movie, really don't care. And nobody's going to, and if somebody argues with me, that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, post everything you guys want to. I will let each one of you guys tell the viewers where they can find you. And if you can disclose it, what you got in the making. So, Mark, I will start with you, sir.
Okay, you could come to absurdproductionspictures.com, and I've redesigned the website. It's very simple. It's got each movie listed. It's got links to a description, a trailer, and where to buy. We have 2 horror films on a Roku channel called Fear Flicks. We have Remnants and 3 on a Match. They're on there. And then we have 3 films available through Amazon, VOD. We also have a couple films that are loaded up on the IMDb page for free. Once again, if you come to the website, you can find all of those links quickly. We have a film, Brazen Impact, that we released last year. That right now we're looking for a home for streaming on that. And we are in the process, about a third of the way through shooting our comedy for next year called One of One.
Awesome. Tom?
So I'm actually kind of shy, a little quiet, don't have a web presence so much, but I am on social media. Feel free to reach out to me. Love connecting with people. I'd like to take the opportunity to specifically thank Mark and Moni for allowing me to participate in their films that I've been part of. And it did get a little heavy with the whole, no pun intended, heavy duty man conversation. So I want to take just a second to wish those who, for various different reasons, couldn't be part of the production the very best and wherever they're going in their journey. I want to thank the ones that came on board and also the ones that stuck around. I owe all of you guys. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Chris Ridings, who is the assistant director on Heavy Duty Man. He stepped up from an acting role into that position, and I can't be more grateful for his assistance.
Awesome. And I don't think anybody would think anything less of you, man. Just a good dude. So, you know, don't worry about that stuff. But I understand where I understand where you come from now. You know, that's an admirable thing to say. So kudos for you on that.
Thank you.
Sure. Go ahead there, my love. What you got?
KOA has a fan page on Facebook that you can find us on. I'm on Facebook as well. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything like that. But that's pretty much it. We don't have a website for KOA. We're looking to hopefully finish up the editing phase by the end of the year and have something out there.
Awesome. And Jason, nobody cares about what you got coming out. No, Jason Pitts, please tell everybody what you got.
On Facebook, on Instagram, Voorhees Night of the Beast, streaming on YouTube for free. Alone, short film Alone is on Tubi, it's on Plex, and it's on Exumo. And Masquerade will be on Tubi any day now. So that's where you can find me. I do have a website, www.lucidlakepictures.com.
Lucid Lake Pictures.
I also want to say it was a great talking with you guys, and wish you guys all the best.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you all for the opportunity.
oh, absolutely. And I will call Jason out. Jason has if you have not checked out Voorhees Night of the Beast, check it out. That movie's actually got, is it over 200,000 views now?
Yeah, it's about 210,000 in like a month and 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's been really successful. So I definitely want to give a shout out to you on that one. He actually had the watch party premiere. He did the online premiere with us. Turned out really good, I think, for both of us. So if you guys ever, if you feel like you want to do that with us, let me know. We got a lot of people that obviously watch horror movies because we're a horror movie podcast. So yeah, just if you ever want to do it, whenever you want to get together for anything, let me know and we'll make it happen. So Again, like Jason said, I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time out talking to me. Honestly, next to Jason's interview, this has probably been the most insightful that I've actually been a part of. You guys have really kind of shed some light on all aspects of it, and Mark, especially you, man. I mean, the way you think, it's damn near close to how I think, and it's really cool that you have your shit together. Because some people just don't, as far as directing goes. And I'm not taking anything away from Tom or Moni either, but it's just you guys are on another level. So, it's been a pleasure and an honor talking to you guys. So I can't wait to see what you guys got in the works. So yeah, I'll make sure I have this interview up as soon as I can. And obviously everybody that's listening, thank you. And like I always say, in the director's chair in this episode, that's a wrap, guys.
Thanks a lot. Have a good
Thank-
night.
You too, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
guys.
you for taking the time and having us on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, brother.